everyone. So, thank you for coming, first off, but I'm here today to tell you the story of the last 4 years of my life and my entrepreneurial journey just throughout my college years. So my freshman year, I actually got in trouble quite a bit, like a lot of trouble. I got written up 5 times, mostly drinking related incidents. I actually landed myself in the hospital on Halloween because I drank myself almost to death. My friends told me that the paramedics told them that if they didn't keep me awake that night, I would probably die. That's how much I drank that night. So, coming off of that, I had just gotten kicked out of one of my dorms and I just got moved into another one. And, believe it or not, I got myself written up again. And one of the hall directors caught me, I actually got locked out of my room, so when he came in, he's like, hey, what is this in your shot glasses? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, oh, well, this looks like it's some residue. I'm like, okay, whatever. So got kicked out again. And in that same week, I just received an email telling me that I just got kicked out of the business school. So in the same week, I just got kicked out of the business school, and then I got kicked out of my house, and they were threatening to kick me out of housing. So at that point in my life, it was very, very stressful. I was actually just very, very depressed. My life at that point, I just thought it was over. I mean, how could I possibly go on at that point? But of course, I'm still here, so I got through that point. And then my sophomore year, specifically summer leading up to my sophomore year, I had my interview with my first, it was actually my first corporate interview. And I was sitting in the interviewer seat, the VP of the company was interviewing me, and he was not even paying attention to me at all. He was just staring at his phone, just at his BlackBerry, just insisting that he was listening to me. I said, okay, you know what, that's fine. But then the one thing that really stuck with me all these years is that he said, Zion, it takes a very specific type of person to be able to work full-time and be able to go to school full-time and to be able to do both really, really well. And of course, he did it when he was in college, so he was telling me from voice of experience, whatever. I said, okay, that's fine. But needless to say, I did not get hired. So 3 years later, I have been able to manage 130 people in a Fortune 500 company. I've launched 4 different companies. I've been responsible for advising hundreds of different startups and being able to bring them together in the last year alone. And you know what? Now I'm working on something a little bit fun. And I had the fortune of being able to do all these things as a Rutgers student. I'm still finishing up my senior year here. And so, let's fast forward a little bit. So my sophomore year, I decided that I was going to interview for this other job. And it was another job interview I had. It was that same summer. And then when they asked me, they were like, hey, Zion, can you build us a website? I'm like, yeah, I could totally do that. And they're like, and the website they needed was an e-commerce site, which is a shopping cart website. And I didn't actually know how to do it, but I told them I knew how to do it anyways. So I lied to get one of my first jobs. And, I Googled my way to figure it out. I eventually figured it out, and then I got it running, and it eventually got to the point where it was even making money for the store. Now, that store eventually said that they were going to close down, and I had no idea why. But they also just happened to do Greek clothing at the time. Fraternity and sorority clothing, if any of you guys thought I saw someone with the sewn on letters. I started a company called Easy Greek just because I had the opportunity to do it. I asked myself, what are all these people going to do if this store closes and where are they going to go? I was like, you know what? Fine. I will step up and I'm going to start this business and see how it goes. So, there I was like absolutely clueless on what I was doing. There was just no amount of words that I can talk about for how much I struggled through that entire time, because when you don't know, you just don't know. I had some people that wanted to help me throughout my life, and I just didn't even know what kind of questions I wanted to ask them, because that's how little I actually knew. And I made every single mistake that you could ever possibly think of throughout this experience, and I struggled. And when I look back at it today, it was one of those experiences where it's just like, wow, how was it even possible that I made it through all those times? And how is it that I even got through to where I am today? And then fast forward another year. This is my junior year now. The summer before my junior year, I started a website called Are You Screwed? And That website, I was fortunate enough to say that we've actually probably helped thousands upon thousands of freshmen get integrated into college. And then at this point, we restarted again, and that site has touched at least 100,000 people. And this was just a side project because I was just bored during the summer, nothing to do, and I was very, very happy to be able to come back to those things. Later that year, I felt very empty because I just got back into doing Easy Greek, and I just felt this void inside of me, and I had no idea why. Everything seemed like it was going so well, and I had no reason to really feel the way that I was feeling, but I did. I just felt this emptiness that was inside of me. And I didn't know where it was coming from. And then one day, there was a speaker in one of my classes. His name was Ankur. Inc. magazine named him the most connected 21-year-old in the entire world. I was 19 at the time, and I was just asking myself, how is that even possible? How is it possible that this guy that's only 2 years older than me has accomplished so much? But then what he said to me still remains with me today. And he said, look, if you guys are in entrepreneurship for the money, you will fail. And then he said something else. He said, money is the byproduct of solving a problem. If you solve a problem, then the money will come. And that just sounded so simple to me. I just couldn't even put two and two together. I was like, what? Like, that's it? Like, all I have to do is do this and I get this? That sounds amazing. That's the secret to success, right? In a nutshell. So then I moved on and I said, okay, well, then I realized, hey, life isn't, the life I'm living, the life that I was living at the time wasn't actually the life that I wanted to be living. I didn't feel like I was helping people. I didn't feel like I was impacting people, and I didn't feel like I was about to change the world. For that matter, if I dropped off the face of the earth the next day, not that many people would care. And I really took that to heart because that really shaped my entrepreneurial journey there moving forward. So, right after that, I had the fortune of joining a company called Juice Tank. I was part of the founding stages of a startup incubator in a coworking space. I did that for about a year. That's the same year I founded this group. And, I got to the point where it was like, I had the opportunity to do such great things, and that's because I discovered mentorship. I discovered what it meant to really just take the experiential knowledge of someone else, just to tap into your experiences of everything that you've ever done in your life and get that passed down to me. Like, just think about how much you can save someone from a world of struggle just by sharing a little piece of what you know, because no matter what, you will always know just a little bit more than someone else. But eventually I got burned out. I realized I was living a life again, one that I wasn't truly doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live. And there were days where I came in, I stared at the computer screen and I asked myself, like, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I just staring at the screen? The next thing I know, there's a month gone by where I'm just asking myself, what am I doing with my life again? Because I just didn't know the answer to that question anymore. And eventually, I just laughed at myself. Because I realized, hey, you cannot tell my future. I can't tell my future. Why am I thinking about these things? I let it go and moved on. So then I want to close with a story about my friend Nick. Nick actually passed away earlier in August. He was one of my closest friends. He lived with me that summer that I got the interview. And Nick was very inspirational to me because he showed me this book that he had one day, and in the book, it had this idea of a green taxi car company, where you could take a hybrid car or electric car and turn them into taxis. I was like, wow, that's a great idea. And then in the next part, he showed me another one where he connected these different 2 points in Maryland, drew out the rail line, and was telling me how to do these things, and to me, my mind was absolutely blown. Like, here's this guy, he's 2 years older than me, he just blew my mind. I couldn't even grasp what he was doing. I couldn't understand why he could even think that big, why he thought he could even do some of those things. And Nick had this tattoo on his back of the world map, and his nickname was Atlas. And he said that he put the tattoo on his back because he carried the world on his back, and back then I just thought he was a stupid kid. And now I realize the significance and the symbolism behind that. And when Nick passed away, even before that, he sent me a text and he said, Zion, I wouldn't be surprised if one day it embodies his entrepreneurial spirit, it embodies everything that I want to do, because I just did not want to create another company where we just made the next Angry Birds. I mean, Angry Birds would make me a lot of money, but other than that, I wanted to do something that was meaningful. So with the company today, my dream for what I want to do for the rest of my life, I want to be able to help as many people in as many countries, just before the day that I die. And I think I should be able to do that, where I can make an impact so big that every single person will be affected by it. And I want to do that by empowering the entrepreneurs and the startups that are solving those problems that are eventually going to solve your problems, and I want to help them so eventually I can impact the world. Now the question that I want to leave with you today is, are you the one that's holding yourself back? And just think about it. And just think if there's anything that you could do today, or tomorrow for that matter, would you do it? And if not, why not? Thank you.